Okay, students, welcome to the class again. So, till now we have spoken about the problems of economic. Okay, so that was the problems of economic problems. And what we had spoken last was that, the causes are there of economic problems and they are unlimited. As I had told you, that ones are unlimited and they are limited or scarce means, and we have to find alternative uses. Okay, so today we are going to talk about is determinants of economic development. Okay, so one by one, let me just put in points so that I can explain to you. So as I said, because determinants means the causes of how we can do development and how development is done. Okay, so mostly as I told you, let's talk about the first thing I said. It was a continuous process. Yes. Okay, the second thing I had said was increase, if you remember, increase in national income, okay, and per capita income. So if you remember, I had said that this is the most important thing, because as I said, that it's a continuous development, and development takes place in a very slow manner, in a very thing, and once there's a development in the country, what happens is the national income increases and per capita. What I had told you about per capita, it's the per day income or the per day individual person of a country. So as I said, it's the per person, per capita. So let's focus on this. So per capita means the per individual earning person in a country. Okay, so if you multiply with the population of the country, you will get is the increase in the national income. So it is that simple, guys. So you have to just repeat this. Okay, so you have to just remember this thing. And let's talk about the third point. So obviously now when there is a continuous process and there is an increase in national income and per capita of income, obviously you will also get is the increase in standard of living. Yes. Okay, so if you see India, let's take an example of India. If you see from 1947 to 2020, you've seen that the standard of living has changed. Okay, drastically it has changed. Okay, and the only reason because of this is, as I told you, is because of that your economic development has improved, and all these reasons, because it's a continuous, slowly India has gone up, and there has been an increase in the national income and per capita. Everybody is earning in the country, so everybody is equally distributing their income, and that is why the standard of living is also increased. Okay, so just let me rub this. Okay, and we will go to the next point so that I can explain you in detail. So as I said, we are going to talk about is the determinants, okay, of economic development. And when we are talking about the determinants of economic development, so that is very, very important. Okay, so just let me just keep on rubbing this. Okay, slowly let me rub this. Okay, so that if I can clear this image, it will be very easy for you to remember also. And as I told you also, that sung the more we continue this class, we will understand that how there is like a relationship. The fourth point, guys, let's talk about the fourth point. Let me take a pen here. So the fourth point is exploitation. Okay, so exploitation of national or natural resources. Okay, so as I had told you also, that there is an exploitation of natural resources, and very, very important that is. Okay, so this is the way that the more you utilize in the country and the more you will develop, so then there will be an exploitation of what do you mean by exploitation? That you should utilize each and every resources which are available in the country. So that is the meaning of exploitation. Okay, so exploitation means like complete usage, so that everything is used and everything is used in a proper manner. So that is very, very important. Okay, so let me just come back now. And now, so as I told you, so we have understood the process of economic development, and let me tell you one by one. Let's just repeat once again as I had told you. So it's a continuous process, okay? And what did I tell you? That it is increasing the national income and the per capita income of a country, and it increases the standard of living, and exploitation of resources. So we have to exploit, we have to see that all the national resources are fulfilled. So that is very, very important, okay, because that is the very important. So now we have come to know, let's talk about the next point here. Okay, so we will talk about is the factors. Okay, so the factors which are affecting the economic development, okay, or so there are two types of factors. Please remember this. One is the economic factors, okay, this is what it is, and the other one is non-economic factors. So we will take one by one, okay, all individually, because as I said, these are, so because see, if a country has to grow, the country has to go financially with a lot of monetary aspects. So I told you what is economics. Economics is commerce and business, okay. So economic factors means when you're talking about monetarily, because when a country has to run a show, and a country like, especially like India is such a huge population, so we need money, we have to run the show, the government has to spend on resources and on the population, okay. So first economic factor is population, okay. So this is the economic factor. I'm talking about economic factors. Let's just talk about it. Then is natural resources, okay. I will first explain you three points, then you will understand better, okay. Then is the technical level, okay. So now let's talk. So first thing, as I said, that see, India is a vast population, and it's like, we have rural sector, we have urban sector. So what is rural sector? So the people who are staying in the villages are called in rural sector, and the people who are staying in the city is urban sector. So there is a huge rural urban divide, because most of the people are farmers, and most of the Indians who are staying in India are in the rural sector. So this is a huge population, okay. So we have to take care of the population and see that everybody is being able to earn money and get money, okay. So population is very important, and we have to see that the population is taken care, and see that there is a control of population, okay. Because see, if a country has a lot of population, it is very very difficult, because resources are less in India, as I told you. So population is more. So what we have to do is we have to control the population. So that is very important, guys, okay. And as I told you, like, natural resources. Now India is a huge country, and geographically also we are very good, and we have lot of natural resources, it's in abundance. But the only thing is, we are not being able to utilize. So we have to, as I said, utilize them, okay, in the maximum level. The maximum level we can utilize, we have to utilize, okay. Then comes this technology. So nowadays, if you see in India, India is doing very good in technology, and if you can see now also that India has done superb in technology, okay. So if you've seen also that it has gone very far, okay. If you talk about talking about computers, and talking about development, industry, machinery. But if you compare to other countries, our technology is still very less, okay. So the more we are advanced, and the more we are industrialized, and the more we are using technology, we will be able to overcome, okay. So that is also one of the economic factors. We have to spend a lot of money on industrialization, we have to spend a lot of money on technology. So technology has to be very sound. And if you talk about it also, like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, and then we have the skill development project which Mr. Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, is doing. So it's on because of this solely that we are being able to do. Let's come to the fourth one. Okay, so the fourth economic factor is capital formation. Okay, so money has to be formed. So there must be capital generation and there must be a lot of money, all over the country. So there must be capital. So what is capital? Capital means money. Okay, so even if we have to start a business, we have to have capital. So capital is very important, and that is why we have to form the capital. And how do we form the capital? We have to do a lot of savings. Okay, we have to produce. Okay, and then we have to make a lot of profit. So we have to encourage the farmers or the businessmen and all that, so that capital, and everybody has to earn in a country. So if you earn in a country, then only you will be able to form a capital. So capital formation is very important, guys. Remember this. Come to the next one. So entrepreneurial, this is a very big word. I'll explain to you, not an emotion, and promotion. Okay, so say for example, you are working in a company, and now you're not interested anymore and you want to do business. Okay, so you become a small businessman. Okay, and so the country should encourage these businessmen to become entrepreneurs. So what is entrepreneurial? The people who are into business. It can be any type of business, small business, big business. So the country should encourage all person who are into business to come and do some exhibition, and they should do promotion. They should see that all the domestic people in the country, the businessmen are being able to promote, and they are being able to get the exposure to do business. Okay, and this promotion is basically done from the country. So the country should give this platform to them, that please come. So if you have heard of this, when you have heard of this word also called as startup company. Okay, so now we have new organizations which have come up, and Narendra Modi and all the prime ministers, they are encouraging the startup companies to grow up. So that is what I'm trying to tell you is entrepreneurial and promotion activities have to be done a lot, because the more you encourage these businessmen, you give them money, we can give them finance, we can tell the banks to help them, we can give them some platform where they can do exhibition, we can have some big outdoor functions. So this is happening. So it's not that it is not happening, but it has to happen more. Okay, so let us just wrap this. Okay, and let me take some more time of yours. Okay, so we will, after this, as I said, we will go to the, we'll understand one by one, because the more we understand, it will be better for you, it will be more clear. So let's come to the next point. Okay, so then that is the economic organization. Now this is a very big word. It's very easy. See, economic organization, just now what I told you. So if you want to do business, you need finance, you need money. So you have to have these economic organization. These are the small or finance, companies which will come and give you finance, and they will lend you money, so that you have been, the more you get loan, you, and with less interest, and they'll give you enough time to become big. So this is called as economic organization. So it can be a bank. Okay, it can be a private institute, it can be any financial institute which is governed by the government, or a private thing. So but nowadays, if you see in governments, they have like LIC is also doing a lot of finance, then there is HDFC Bank, and then there is lots of government banks which are encouraging these small enterprises, so that they become entrepreneur, and promotional activities are going on, that you do not need to have money or anything at all, you just can come and take money from us. So this is called as I said, economic organization. So it is very important, guys. So yes, let me come to the next point, and let me quickly wrap this for you. Okay, so as I told you, so as now let's just repeat what I've started. So as I said, we first said that economic factors comes is population, and then I told you also about is natural resources. So natural resources are also very important. Okay, So natural resources are also very important, where you have to also see that the entire country is being able to use the natural resources properly. So that is very important, guys. And you have to see that each and every corner of the country, so naturally all the resources are used up, so that there is each and every, and it should be in the optimum level, in the highest level. Okay, so if you talk about in China, they are using their natural resources very well. Okay, that is the only difference. Once we start doing all this, I'm telling you that we will definitely overcome China, any country in fact in the world. Okay, it's only because we are not utilizing it properly. Yes, so now who is going to help this? Who is going to see that this natural resources are utilized properly? So obviously we have to have is government policies. Okay, so government policies are very very important. So government policies, like new policies are coming up to encourage the farmers. New policies should come to see that they are getting money, they are getting technical help. In the schools they should introduce more of computers, they should introduce all that. So government policy should be good. So let me write here good or best for the economy. Okay, so for the economy, so government policy should be very much encouraging and they should be very smooth. So that is very very important. Come to the next one, economic system. Okay, so there must be an economic system where everywhere, whenever you go, you can have a help. There must be private sectors should be encouraged, public sectors also should be encouraged. Public sectors, that is the government organizations, should see that anybody who comes to them, they should get loan and they should get encouragement. So economic system, we have to build one economic system, that is, and economic system has to be done not now, like slowly we have to build a very strong economic system. Now I'll give you an example. If you see, Mr. Narendra Modi has opened this zero balance accounts all over the rural sectors of India. Wherever you now you don't need to even keep 100 rupees. With zero balance you're opening account. So that is the economic system I'm talking about. So that the all these men, all the population or all the rural sector people are encouraged to come to the banks, and they understand the meaning of the banks and they start doing savings, and then they are encouraged to take loans and start their own businesses in farming and whatever. So economic system is very very important. And obviously with that is your capital output ratio. So capital should be such that the capital should be more, so that you always have capital to do business to do. So capital output, the flow of money should always be good. Okay, so let us just finish it off and let me brush it up. So this is was all about economic factors. Okay, and we had just studied about economic factors. So just quickly let me rub this. Okay, as quick as possible. Okay, so I'll rub this so that I'll just clear the canvas. Yes. Okay. Okay, so now I will talk about, so let me just repeat once more before we come to the non-economic factors. So the first economic factors was, as I said, population. Okay, so population, then I spoke about was natural resources. So natural resources are very important. Then I spoke about the technical level. Yes, technology is also very important. Then capital formation, how we can fill, how we can fill this gap, and how we can encourage people to earn money. Okay, and by way of entrepreneur, building new businesses, encouraging all small people and big people and middle people to do business, and giving them promotional activities. So promotion is very important, advertising their products and all that. Then I spoke about is economic organization, like financial institutes like banks, or private institutions like LIC, NABARD, or any government firm. So we have to build a very strong economic organization. So that is very very important. Then I said, yes, who is going to build up this? I told you, remember, government policy. So government policies should be very strong. They should be very vital. It's a vital point. It's very very important, guys, because if government policy, so now the government has to be stable also. If the government changes, so that is why you see this year, just because if you see that our present government has done so much of work because it was stable. So policies are also not changing, and they should encourage all these businessmen, all the people of the country, to build up as a team, and so that there is a further economic development. Okay. Then next I spoke about was capital output ratio. So capital output ratio is very important, as I said. So capital should always be more, so the money flow should be there in the country, so that we can encourage and start continuously exploit natural resources, and we can continuously do business. So that is very very important, because if you do not have that, then that is very difficult. Okay, so now let us come to non economic factors. Okay, so let me just write down the points first. So first is social factors, then second is political factors. Okay, then third is religious, then fourth is international. Okay, so these are non-economic factors, because this, like, this is nothing to do with money, but this is also very important. And for a proper economic development, you have to have very good non-economic factors. Okay, so these are the, because if these are not working, then you will not be able to have a good economic development. So social factors means, you have to see that the society has been taken care. So right now, if you see in India, we have is the upper class and the middle class and the lower class. But generally, so the all classes of people should be, seen. So the entire society should be encouraged. The ones where the government cannot reach, we have to see that the society is being encouraged. Okay, and they have to be what you call independent, and they have to see that they are all educated and they are getting all the benefits, so that they also start earning, they also increase the national income, and they must also have a per capita income, so that if they start earning, if they get all the benefits, then only we will be able to develop. So social factors are very very important. Political factors, yes, government stability. So the more the political factor means, I mean to say that if we are friendly with all the countries of the world, and we don't have any enemies, we don't have any fight, nothing, so then political factors are very important, and there government should be very stable. So that is very very important. Okay, yes, religious factors. So religious factors is, you have your own religion, so you should take care of your own religion, but that should not interfere with any country unrest or any fight. So there must be smooth, flow of culture or religion. So religious factors are very important. All the religions should be staying. Now right now in India, it's so diversified, and we have so many religions in one country, so it is very confusing. So there must not be any fight or distress between the religious factors. So religious factors play a very important role also. So make sure that this is in the normal level, because see, religion is a personal thing. So that is why it should always be in the personal level, and that, you should not intervene this into anything else. Okay, so if there is, like, I'll give you example, like, these things should not be done, that should not be done in our tradition. We are not supposed to get up in the morning, or say for example, some people say that eclipse, grahan is very bad for you, and that moment of time you have a very important business. So these all rituals should not interfere in your economic development. Got my point? Religious should be a personal thing, and it should be at your home or at your own personal thing. It's a personal thing, and that is why the minute it starts interfering, communal rights and fights going on right now, if you're seeing current scenario also. So if there's a communal right, what happens is this spoils. Okay, so this spoils the economic development. And just think, guys, just think what is the impression of our country towards the world. Even the world will think that, oh, they are continuously fighting for religion, they're continuously, always there is so much of problem in India, so nobody will do business with us. So that is why international factor is also very important. Internationally, we must be well recognized. We should be a very peaceful country. We should be a happy country. It should be a very attractive country. We must attract the foreigners to come and do business here. So there must be multinational corporation. Okay, so there must be lots of funds which are coming from abroad. So these four factors, guys, so that is the social factor, then the political factor, then the religious and the international factor. All these are very, very important. So they are very, very vital. So let me just wrap this and then we will go to, so I think now by now you must have come to know what is exactly, as I said, okay, because if I talk about it now, we know that what is exactly the characteristics of a normal economic development. So it's also called as characteristics or determinants, like, because if you suppose, if you are the country's prime minister, and then you need to know that what are the things to be look forward for economic development. So then you have to divide into economic factors and non-economic factors. And what did I say about economic factors? The first thing is population. Then you have to look after the natural resources as a prime minister. You also have to look after the technology. Then the capital formation should be done. Then entrepreneurial and promotional activities should be done. Then economic organization should be built up. You must build lots of banks and financial institutions. You must keep on changing government policies, not always, but for the betterment of the society and for the people. So that is very important. And then you must have a very good strong economic system. So that is also very important. And capital output ratio also should be there. And then I spoke about is the non-economic factors, which I told you, that is the political or the social factors. First is talking about the society. Then we should always have a very strong political society or a government. Politically we should have friendliness with all the countries, our neighboring countries. And religious also should not intervene with the economic development, because if religion comes in between, then the economic development stops. So that is very important. And internationally also, our country should become very famous. Okay, it must become famous all over the world, and for the good, not for the bad. So remember this. Okay, so now when you have come to know, let's talk about is the characteristics. Okay, so the characteristics of Indian economy. So right now I was only talking about is how is economic development or what are the factors, but now I will tell you what are the characteristics of an Indian economy. Like, what is the situation right now, what is the current scenario, how is India doing. Okay, so the first thing we will talk about is underdeveloped. Okay, so India is underdeveloped because, as I said, that many reasons are there, because India is not being able to progress. India has not been able. So what are the reasons? The first reason of underdevelopment is low per capita income. Let me write down the points, then I will explain to you one by one. B, poor infrastructure. C, dependence on imports. Okay, then D, okay, illiteracy. So let's just discuss about these points first. Okay, then I will also write here E. I got little space, so I'll write here also agricultural economy. Okay, and F, that is a small one here, we will talk about, there is a low development. So there is a low development of industries. Okay, so now we have all the points in front of you. Okay, so we will talk about one by one, because then you can understand also that why it is under. So this is all coming under point number 1. Okay, so what is the point number 1? I said it is underdeveloped. Okay, so let us just talk about it one by one. Please focus on the screen. So we will talk about first is low per capita income. So that, what is the problem? The problem is that the whole country are not being able to earn. We are not being able to reach each countrymen are not being able to earn. The income is very less of each Indians, okay, and that is why we are not being able to increase our national income. So that is one of the major problems, and the issue is because everybody is not working and earning so much. Okay, so if you're not being able to earn much, then how you will be able to contribute? Got my point? And that is why we are underdeveloped. Let's talk about the second one, poor infrastructure. So you see the condition of our roads. You see one rainy season and all the cities are underwater, isn't it? It's something like it looks like Venice. You go to Bombay and see the condition. Imagine the condition of our great cities. Okay, these are metropolitan cities. So talk about the villages. So infrastructure. Now, what is the advantage? See, if infrastructure is good, if the roads are good, if we have bridges, we have dams, then what happens is the business is done properly. Why business? Because there are roadways. So by road, the transportation can happen, the logistics can work. There must be a proper go down. So infrastructure is very important. So from one area to another area you can go. Let's take an example of USA. Okay, so if you are doing business in USA, the roads are so smooth, they are like butter. You can reach to one destination to another destination within 2 hours. So your business is smooth. And then suppose if you are in a farming place, so farming should be connected well with the roads, so that your raw materials to your industry can reach. So infrastructure is very, very poor in India, and we really have to work on it, especially the states like Bihar, and they are very underdeveloped. So if you see the states of Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh, developed, if you talk about, we can only talk about good infrastructure in India is South India. Okay, so really they have done a very good job. If you talk about Tamil Nadu, okay, and a little bit of Andhra Pradesh also, a little bit of Karnataka, but Tamil Nadu has done a great job. Okay, so their infrastructure is very strong, and that is why if you see all the industries are very well. If you talk about Bangalore also as a city, the infrastructure is good, and that is why it is called as an electronic city. Okay, so that is very important. Let's talk about the third point. So dependence on imports. So what is happening is, as I remember, I told you that we are not being able to utilize our resources at the optimum level. So just because we are not being able to utilize our resources in the optimum level, we are taking the products from outside. So imports is more. We are not being able to export because we are not being manufacturing anything. We are not being able to use the resources in the proper manner. As I told you also, that utilization of resources has to be done. So what we have to do is we have to increase the exports, but this is not happening right now. Our dependence is more on imports. Okay, we heavily depend on China, and that is why you can see the condition. We cannot suddenly even ban the China products. So all the products are mostly 90 or 92% we import from China, and the rest of the places like America and other countries. Okay,